Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer. In this video, we're doing a rundown on my reading of October 2022. How many books I read, my top 3, my least favourite 3, and a couple of books that didn't make the top 3 but are good enough to mention. Every book I read this month will be in the description. If you're interested in any of those books and any of the books I mention in this video, check out my channel and subscribe. Every book I read this month, of course, will have a video some stage on my channel. So subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on those videos. Let's get started with how many books I read in October. In total, I read 18 books. What's the breakdown by genre? Fantasy, 4 books. Sci-fi, 2 books. Mystery, 1 book. Action, 1 book. Cozy mystery, 3 books. Thriller, 4 books. Horror, 3 books. You can see, again, a wide range of genres for October, but fantasy and horror are getting up there as the most read in October. And for fantasy books, I've got a series that I'm in the middle of, and I'm starting a few series again now in November. I'm struggling with getting through series without starting new series. It's an ongoing struggle for me, and I think I'm going to get to the stage where I have to finish all the series I've got going. But it just seems impossible because there are so many books out there to read and so many series out there to read. How can you just concentrate on one and not read any others? It's a hard thing to do. Maybe I'll do it one day, but for now I'm struggling with that. Let's go through my top 3 books for October. The first is The Thursday Murder Club, written by Richard Osman. I loved everything about this book. The characters, the setting, the whole plot, the mystery, everything was so well written. The characters were all believable. They're all perfect characters in my opinion. The mystery itself is very strong, very well thought out and planned. I think anybody who likes a great mystery will like this book. And it's book 1 in a series. So I haven't read any more in the series yet, but I do plan to read every book in this series. I just think it's a perfect book. The second book is The Ninth Month, written by James Patterson and Richard DeLello. This is a great thriller. The very start of it, that first chapter, is so gripping and hooks you into the story. There are some great twists and some great shocks in the first few chapters as well. Very powerful. And the characters are so well written. All the characters are very well written, especially the main characters. My favourite character in this book was Betsy. Very strong character, and she drives this plot very much. I thought this was a well thought out and well structured thriller and mystery. I liked it a lot. Even if you don't like James Patterson, I think give this a go. It's a very, very simple plot, but very well executed. Fall of Night, written by Jonathan Maberry, is my 3rd favourite book in October. It's the second book in a zombie horror series. The reason I like this so much is it expands on the first book very much. Expands the whole world the authors created, and structured very differently. The chapters are very short. The POV changes very quickly in this book, and that just hypes up the suspense, tension and action in the story. There's so much going on in this second book, and everything is so gripping. I'm looking forward to trying to get my hands on the 3rd book in this series because this second book was written so well. I liked everything about it, and I think for a zombie horror, it just touches on so many elements in this story that you don't see in other zombie horror novels. And I just like everything about this book. The characters, the plot is so well thought out in this story. I think the author, sat back and did a great job in setting out this plot. It seems well thought out and well planned. The writing is very strong, very powerful, and I like the fact that there's other characters in this book that link to other series the authors have written. And I haven't read anything else about this author, in the past, but I just got the feeling that some of these characters were becoming very strong characters, and they're in there for a very short time. And when I did some research, I did find out that there are other series this author's written, and these characters are the main characters in those series. So this series alone and this book makes me want to read everything that this author has written, and it's a quite powerful book in my opinion. Now to the worst 3 books for the month. The first is Blood and Ink, written by Brett Adams. This is meant to be a mystery, but for me it fails. I think the scope is just too big. The author tried to do too much in this story, and it becomes too unbelievable. Also, the main character, it's a series of bad choices and bad decisions made by the main character. And if you're just using that as your plot driver time and time again, to me, it's just stupid. A person, okay, one bad choice, maybe two in a story, but a whole series of them, I mean heaps of them, and very blatant bad choices and decisions, when the character should know better, given who the character is in the story. It just doesn't make sense to me. For me, it just wasn't a good book because of that. The villain is a good villain though, but there's not enough of the villain in the story. So I think if the scope of the story was shrunk down and the villain was brought out more, maybe more chapters from the villain's point of view, would have been a much better book. A Spoonful of Murder by J.M. Hall. A cozy mystery. The mystery in this was quite well structured, I thought, but it's the writing style that let it down, and also the characters. Even though the characters were quite interesting in who they were, their voices all sounded the same. And we had different chapters, different sections of chapters from different characters' POV. But because they all sounded the same, sometimes you had to do a double take just to see which character you're following at the time. And that's just difficult for a reader to do and makes the reading experience more tiring in my opinion, because you're there trying to figure out which character am I following at the time when you should be enjoying the story itself. Even though the mystery was good, because of the writing style and the way the characters are written, it's one of my least favourite books of the month. My last least favourite book of the month is Look Both Ways by Linwood Barclay. Even though I enjoy Linwood Barclay thrillers, and I've read 2 other books from him, and I enjoy them very much, I didn't enjoy this. It's a tech thriller, and slightly futuristic. Not too futuristic, just slightly. But I just think the plot was a bit bananas, a bit loose, and some of the things going on in this story just so over the top and they don't make sense. Also character-wise, some of the characters just aren't believable. There's 1 or 2 good characters in this story, but when I've read other books from him, there are so many good characters in the story and the plots are so well thought out and it's so thrilling, it's so suspenseful. This story, just some of the things that are going on, how ridiculous they are, it just takes away any tension, suspense in the story. And for that, it's one of my least favourite books of the month. Now for 2 books that are worthy of a mention, but not in the top 3. They're still very good books. The first is M is for Malice, written by Sue Grafton. Now it's no secret that this series, the Kinsey Malone series, is one of my favourite series of all time. And Kinsey Malone is one of my favourite characters in fiction of all time. The mystery in this book is very strong. It's a murder in a house with many suspects in the house at the time. It feels like an Agatha Christie mystery. You get that strong feeling in this book. Even though the mystery is very good and the characters are very good, it takes Kinsey, the main character, down a darker path, and I didn't like that much in this book. But I enjoyed this book very much still, and I still think it's worth mentioning. The second worthy book is Sundial, written by Catriona Ward. It's a horror, a psychological horror, but it's written very well. It's very chilling, very gripping, very suspenseful. The characters in this book are so well thought out and so well constructed. The whole plot is well constructed, and I just like interactions in this story between the characters. The mother in this story is written so well, as are her 2 children. And you don't get many authors who write children very well, but in this story, both children are so well written, they make sense. Everything they do, and all the way they act, makes sense. And the oldest daughter, she is so chilling and gripping in this story. Most of the story focuses on the oldest daughter and the mother, but the other characters, the husband, the youngest daughter, make a big impact, and especially the husband, his behaviour, his character, his whole persona makes a big impact in this story. I think this book is worth reading. If you like slow burn psychological horror, get this book and give it a go. I hadn't read anything by Catriona Ward before reading this book, but now I want to read everything she writes. I think she is a very good writer. There you have my brief rundown for October. My top books, my least favourite books, and books worth mentioning. If any of the books in this video pique your interest, check them out. Tell me what you think of them. Also look out for the videos as I do book reviews on each one. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out.